But you went to the depot.
Yeah, I tell these guys that go to Paris Island, the reason they sent me to...
Is it working? Dad, you're covering the camera.
Yeah.
All right, keep going.
The reason they sent a group of we West Virginians to San Diego was Paris Island wasn't tough enough.
I'm sure they love hearing that.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
So how was the training when you got there? Was it shock or?
Not so much, because I've been raised that by a father up until I was 9, and then brothers afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And when they told you to do something, you didn't say, "I don't want to do that," or "You think we ought to do that." You just went and you just did it. Mm-hmm. Didn't question.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't question authority. Better not question authority.
Were there many of those guys in boot camp?
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. Because that was the way we were raised back then.
Oh no, I'm talking about the opposite. Were there many guys that gave lip and questioned the DIs and so on that were at boot
in
camp?
boot camp?
Yeah.
Very few. And if they did, they were in trouble.
Mm-hmm. How were they thrashed back then?
Whippings for the next 5 weeks.
No?
Well, the best example I can give you is we 6 West Virginians. One guy was 6'2",
Wow.
and he became a squad leader. They formed them so that the tallest guy in front and sloped to the rear. So every platoon was shaped that way.
Mm-hmm.
So we 5'6" guys
Or the back? The
were
caboose?
clear at the end. The big, tall, long-legged guy was at the front, so he would take a 42 or a 45-foot step, and we'd take 2.
Mm-hmm.
30 inches is about the best you can get when you're marching.
Mm-hmm.
So, particularly when we're out in the field on what we call route march, you're just in formation, but you're just walking. You're not marching.
Mm-hmm.
I ran more than I marched or walked, because that big long-legged son of a gun out front there was. I had to run to keep up.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't the only one. All we little short guys back in the back, kind of running to keep up.
Mm-hmm.
But Tiny was first squad, and we had a little corporal drill instructor, mean as a snake. He had been on Guadalcanal, and man, he was tough, no question about it. But I can't remember what Tiny did, but whatever it was, he didn't do it properly.
Mm-hmm.
And when the drill instructor corrected him, he did come back with some kind of a word, make me, or I didn't do that, or something. And he crushed his nose. He whacked him right smack dab in the nose. He had to go to sick bay to get his nose quit bleeding.
And then he came back?
Oh yeah.
Did he talk back again?
No, and nobody else did either. That only took one time.
Now, was there a lot of physical? Yeah.
Yeah.
And you had been in the CCCs too, which was kind of military.
Yeah.
So I think that made a difference too.
So didn't question what they said.
You don't question DIs.
That's right. Well, you got it.
Yeah, when I was at OCS, my brother gave me this. He's 9 years older than me. He says, the best thing I'm going to give you is this advice. Whenever they come after you, you just say, this candidate is wrong. This candidate will do better. And I just went through OCS with no problem. You know, the only time I got a little bit, I guess, cute with one of the DIs, I had my hand on my hip, and standing off to the side, and this one DI just came in and, what are you doing? It's like the first week.
Yeah.
I don't know. I said, this candidate is burdened by civilian reason. And he looked at me like, you're a freak. You stay away from me. And that was it. But they didn't really touch us a lot, but they were psychologically messing with us all the time. And as soon as they saw weakness,
Yeah.
they went after him.
Absolutely.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What rank or grade did you come out with? Huh?
Oh, I was butter bar.
Butter bar.
Butter bar. Yeah, I got injured and they sucked me in a think tank because I had a PhD. So I was kind of a strange bird. I was a butter bar lieutenant, but I had a PhD. So I outranked everybody academically, but everybody outranked me, in OCS and TPS, officer-wise. And so I herniated my L5S1 disc. And so they put me into my company where I gave lectures, I took care of a library, and I actually developed the professional book report or reading guide to the professional reading for each rank up to Lieutenant Colonel. And I guess it's still being used. Ender's Game, Sun Tzu, Art of War.
Game.
Yeah, Ender's Game is in there as well. Goodbye Darkness by William Manchester. A lot of these books, Carry the Load by Marshall, and so on. These books.
I need to see that.
And so I gave kind of like, it says I've read most of these, I gave a kind of Cliff Note version of a lot of these works, and then gave discussion questions to be used in platoons and companies. So, yeah, nobody's going to write any biographies about me. I was a library scientist. If you related the book, I cut off your finger. I was brutal.
To the knuckle.
So that was my MO. I was originally $75.99. I was air contract.
Wow.
My brother was a Harrier pilot, and I got my pilot's license before I went in, and I was hoping to do F-18s or Cobras. Osprey was coming on board, so I might have gotten that as well. But that was my glorious career. I did a little stint in the Israeli military before, and then I did 2 years in the Marine Corps. So, and I was 6'2", so I was up at the.
And you got out right
You were
before
one of
the
those
terrorist
guys.
outbreak.
Yeah,
Take
the
big
long
strides.
legs.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if we had height required.
Everything okay? You want me to pick up the plate?
That's great.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Okay.
Do you know Teresa Grandinetti?
Doesn't ring a bell. Doesn't ring a bell.
She's Master Sergeant Marine Corps.
No, she is.
Yeah. I know Dallas is a big place.
Well, she comes to some of the groups. Part of Dallas Committee on Foreign Relations and Business Executives for National Security. Now, there's Metroplex Marines she might go to, and every now and then I go
Could
there.
be. Yeah.
So you got through boot, no problem?
Yeah, no problem.
What was
at all.
your MOS? How were you trained?
Plain old rifleman.
So how did you get into demolitions?
You.
Oh, really?
You.
Oh.
Really? So you were volunteered?
Yeah. We got into Guadalcanal, and up until that point, I got there in December '43.
Mm-hmm.
And up until that point, we hadn't had flamethrowers. And they brought in flamethrowers early '44.
Mm-hmm.
New weapon. So they established a special weapons unit within the battalion. And
Anything else? I'll give you some water. Do you want to see the dessert menu or something else?
No, I'm okay. I'm fine, thank you.
I'm glad.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Gave us a secondary MOS as the flamethrower demolition specialist. They developed that new MOS.